Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thought I would take a little break from the wood shop today because, as you can see, it's perfect welding weather, and I wanted to carry on with that Wheelarch on the 6.3, and so let me show you what I've been up to. Right, the same principle again. We've got a template here that we made. I jiggled around with this for a little bit to get our profile as close to the original as possible here. Okay, so I use this to cut this guy out, and I've already started to bend it somewhat to the curve here. Now this does have a slight, obviously it has this curve, but it has a slight curve going this way, and I'll show you. I'm going to attempt to recreate that guy. So we'll probably chop into our original patch here a little ways, our old patch here that we put in last week. So just playing around with it, making sure we're going to get rid of all the rust here that's formulated here, and then we're into good metal again. So I'm going to play around with that, and I'll show you how I'm going to get this little curve, or attempt to, on the bench here. So those of you know, this is a gas bottle cap here. It's got a nice rounded dome here, and I'm just going to play around with it a bit to try and replicate that slight curve. Play around. It's not very severe, and it's only on this little tail piece here. So I'm trying to come up with something in the workshop that would work, and this seems to be doing a decent job of it. So let me play around with that for a bit, and then plus I'm just using my hand just to bend it into shape here. As you can see, it's starting to curve there. See it? That little curve at the end there, that's what we're aiming for. And then it kind of dies around here, and then starts to get flatter here. So I'll play around with that and see what I come up with. See, I'm working my way around with the clincos here, using these clamps to get this back edge clamped in, and then I can see how much I need to trim this. You can see this is a fair ways out here. Well, you can see that, but that needs to be turned right in on our little makeshift anvil over there on the bench. See the way the leading edge here is a fair ways, but now that I've put the clincos in, I can take it on and off, put it back on and off until this edge curves in nicely to meet this edge, and then I've got to trim this back a little bit. This is looking pretty good here, and then this has got to be cut and rolled in just a little bit. But these clincos are nice because they, you can take your time before you actually cut the metal out. Right, now I've played around with this profile. As you know, I haven't cut the back rusty metal out yet. I'm using that to get my guide here. So we've got this curve, we've got that curve, and then it curves in slightly as well. If you can see that, so you can see the original sitting here. So I'm trying to get as close to that as possible for our return. And obviously we've got this return angle. We can follow this, and then we'll put our little return in all the way down to here, and then we've just got to make this piece, which I already started to make, which I am going to show in another video, but I already started to make this guy that I used over a wooden form to go here, you see. So this is not exactly right yet. I think I might have to cut this and kind of pull it away slightly. It's a little wider here, and then it kind of goes narrow down the bottom. So I might have to cut and then essentially put a triangular piece in, but I'm not at that stage yet. This dotted line is for a flange to weld onto this flange here. So anyway, so I'm going to put our cardboard template on here to get our return piece, cut that out of cardboard, cut the strip out, and check it, tack weld it in. When I'm happy, then I can cut that panel out and set this in. What we're doing here now, I've got a rough piece of cardboard ready to tape onto the edge here. We'll get a bit of tape on that. Yeah, see, that's a bit off there. Yeah, because we've got to go in a little steeper angle and see it dives off, so we need to correct that. So a lot of faffing around off camera here. I was able to get my angle just to where I like it. Obviously I'm going to cut more metal so I can refine the edge, you know, offer it up and fine tune it. Obviously, because if your return's like this, the gap gets bigger here, and if it's like this, the gaps get bigger on the end. So you got to make sure your return, this angle is correct. So I'm pretty happy with that, and like I say, I can always fine tune it. So let me get that cut out of metal. Right, cut this piece out with some extra, obviously, so we can fine tune it. Now I'm just bending it to follow the curve. I bought some new cutting discs, and I think I bought too thick. I put 1.6 mils, and I should have got the 1mm ones. They're a bit, I don't know, a bit too thick. I prefer the thinner wheels, you know, they turn corners better. So this is coming along now. Let's see, just work it into that corner a little bit. There's a little curve there. Kind of goes and then curves this way as well, so it does this kind of business. Kind of odd, really. But I'm sure when I come to fit the fender, I'm going to be doing a little mincing around to get everything to fit right. There's our final curvature. You can see it's kind of all over the place there. You can see that? So I had to fuss with it a bit to get the return angle correct and a good joint on the flange. So I think we've got the return angle good. I had to take a lot off of here because what was happening, I was getting gapping up here and a little here. So I took a little off there. So essentially then it could bring the patch this way. So I'm going to tack that on there while the clinkers are holding it so it stays in shape. Okay, so I made a little relief cut on this return flange so this can drop in, okay? And then obviously I tacked it, make sure we got our return correct. We've got plenty we can trim up now. That's all. And then obviously while it's held in there, if you tack weld it in while these clinkers are holding it, it'll lock it into its position, see? So all we got to do now is, well, I could finish tacking this up from behind and in front if I feel I don't get enough penetration, clean it up, and then we can cut and make our mark line above these clinkers, cut the patch in. So let me take this off and I'll show you how it looks on the bench. These ones are kind of handy as well, these little clamp things. It should stay in its position. If you did this on the bench, no guarantee you're going to get it back in the same way, is it? This black one is here because the rust on that other side started to open up, and this is a slightly bigger clinker. See that hole opened up a bit. See, there you go. So yeah, it came out pretty good. Got that nice curvature here, nice sweeping curve. Let me get that welded up and get this cut out next. All this rust all the way down to here. So that's the majority of that done, and then we just got to refine our patch that we already made up down here, and then we're good to go on that. So I just wanted to show you me cleaning up this little edge here. I'm not saying that I've got everything here, but I just wanted to show you how I do it. So this is a 60 grit, I think. Yeah, 60 grit. I'm just going very gentle here, trying to take minimal off of the parent metal as possible. Just hit those heads there. So that's just one side taken. You can see all the bumps on the other side, obviously here still. So I'm going to clean that up, but I'm not going to round it yet. I want to see where there's still any pinholes and stuff, and then I'll do my rounding. because like I say in other videos, if you keep just piling them on, then you just got so many welds on top of welds, and when you're doing it you might think there's more gaps than there really is, but if you shave it down, then you'll see that it's actually more complete than you think. And so just trying to save time and a lot of grinding here. So let me do that, and I'll use this up to a point on this thing, but I think here, well, let's see how this one goes on here, and then I'll finish it with a little one. We're pretty good. We've got a few here, we've got a few little dots here we've got to pick up, a couple here, and 5 or 6 along here, but other than that it's pretty complete. And then on the top edge a few, so I'm going to weld those up, clean them up, and then we can round. You can see that you obviously you hit the parent metal a little bit, but as soon as that bead goes down and kisses the parent metal, move on, you know, because then this leaves this as thick as possible. So let me fill those in, I'll clean it up again, and then I'll go rounding it. I'll show you how I round it with a little guy. Alright, now I've filled all those little gaps I talked about, flattened it off here, flattened it off there, and now I'm just going to use my 80 to kind of round it over. There we go, we're taking the edge off now. It's not like a razor, it's not rounded like the original is, but obviously because the main fender is going to be covering this, and then seam sealed, and then seam sealed as far as I can get inside the trunk. So that's rounded off quite nicely now, and that's all solid as a rock. So we've got I put some paint on the area so it makes it easier to see the score line. Okay, so let's get that rounded up and on the car. Right, I've clamped it in place and I've marked it. I painted it with silver paint. I don't have any black paint, that would have been better. So there you have it. You can see my score line here into the good metal. There's a tiny little hole just here, and there's a little bit of pitting here. Hopefully that's not going to cause me some problems, otherwise I'll have to kind of cut in with an area there. I'll see. I'll just see how we go, but we can get all rid of this now. Right, there you have it. I welded all that up, and I went on the inside as well. We got a little thin metal down here, and I was able to tackle that going back and forth, and I'm pretty happy with the profile. It's all solid, nice and strong, smoothed out nicely. I didn't go nutty on it because obviously you'll never see this again. Main thing is that we get this orientation of this flange correct for the outside. So that's great. I'll put some probably zinc primer on there or something just to stop it flash rusting, because I was thinking from the inside of the trunk I'll insert the cavity probe, you know, that long hose, and pull it all the way back, and so all of this inside here, once we're all welded up, we'll get a coating, a few coatings actually, of some cavity paint, you know, rust encapsulator stuff to stop any rust. And then once that's dry, probably won't be able to reach much further than this actually from inside the trunk to get some seam sealer. And then for this area I was thinking, you know, some cavity wax, just punch in a load of stuff in there, because this you obviously can't get to once it's sealed up. Maybe we'll be able to, actual fact, I think there might be some grommet holes on the back side of this inner piece where I can inject as well, anywhere I think logically to get something in. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. It was a little bit of a fiddly one, but it's come out pretty nice actually, and this curve has come out very nice. I was quite happy with that. So next thing up, I've already started shooting the video for making this piece. Let's see, I've already started shooting the video, and this is a little further on than the shows in the video so far, but I will tell you what I've been doing to get this to fit down here. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little inner fender video, and I will see you in the next one when we get down to this lower section, and then we'll getting closer and closer to finishing this area up. Obviously we've got the rocker to finish up, and then this main panel to put on, and then the underside, and then we'll be done on this side. really appreciate all the nice comments people have been making, and stay warm out there. We've had tons of snow here, and so this is what makes it good welding weather. So please hit like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.